Okay, this is going to be my review for the Bulman Holsters. This is the Undercover model. This is intended for the J-frame and the Ruger LCR revolvers. I happen to have a Ruger LCR. I decided to do this as part of a pocket carry setup that I wanted to start doing late in 2025. I was doing appendix carry and then occasional strong side carry in hot weather, because appendix carry was a lot harder for me to conceal. So in hotter weather I would do the T-Rex Arms Ironside holster, and in cooler weather I would do the Tier 1 Concealed Axis Elite. Eventually I had issues with the Axis Elite, just mostly appendix carry related. It's hard to conceal. It was very uncomfortable for me to carry. I've had hernia surgery and I'm not very large statured in the first place, and that holster seemed to take up a lot of real estate on my body and I didn't much care for that. Anyway, so I decided to go with something lighter for about 3 main reasons. One is hot weather. If you're not going to cover it up with multiple layers, then pocket carry is super concealable. In cold weather, when you're wearing a winter coat, it's also really hard to get to your gun if it's attached to your belt. Even appendix carry was difficult for me to do, and I did try that dry fire with my Axis Elite and my Ironside, and pretty much any coat or jacket that comes down below your waistline, it's really hard to pull that up high enough to get clearance to where you can actually draw the gun. It's very slow, very inefficient, and drawing out of a pocket is so much easier. Now, originally part of my plan when I was getting this was this was going to go in a coat pocket or a jacket pocket, and I thought, well, that'll be decent enough. As long as I don't take my coat off wherever I'm going, then this can just stay in the coat pocket and I'll be fine. This holster really is not made for that. The holster is made for pants pockets. It's got the hooks on it. It presents properly, and this revolver is empty, by the way, but it presents properly in pants pockets. It's got a natural curvature to it if you're right-handed. This is the right-handed model. And they also make a left-handed. They also do this with a cutout and without a cutout. This is just to keep it from printing as badly, so you don't have like a noticeable bulge on your pants pocket when you're carrying a revolver. It has nothing to do with shooting the thing in the holster. The holster is actually closed on the end, you'll notice, and it covers the trigger guard. I don't know how you're really going to do that. That's not really what it's for, and nobody recommends carrying a revolver by itself in your pocket. I think you're asking for trouble doing that. So it needs to cover up the trigger guard, and that just keeps it from printing, so that's the way that I ordered that. This is the 9mm version of the LCR, if that matters to you. It's the same basic size as the 38. You'll see the logo there if the lighting's right. But yeah, it says Bulman. It's got their logo, Ruger LCR. So this in a pocket drops in just like that. These are Carhartt pants. I have also worn this with Duluth Trading Company pants. As long as you can access the pants pockets more or less from the side, and the pockets are fairly roomy, then you should have no problem doing this. So anyway, having the gun in the pocket isn't that big of a deal. In hot weather, in formal wear, I forgot to mention that earlier, if you're going to wear a suit and tie somewhere, if it's a wedding or a funeral or something, this works really well. I've concealed this multiple times in formal wear and nobody cares, nobody notices. It's a little harder to carry a reload with this. You might have to figure out another way to do that if you think that that's necessary. Otherwise, you're looking at a 5 or 6 shot revolver, so just keep that in mind. That's all you're going to take with you. So like I said, this is really not intended for coat pockets or jacket pockets. It doesn't present properly to do that. It's more likely to fall out of the pocket when you're moving. This is something that's supposed to be drawn from the top, not from the side, so it's not going to fall properly to present. You could put this in a coat pocket and then zip it up. That's going to make it harder to access if you actually do need it. And as I said, you're going to be fumbling into the pocket to try to get a proper, wrist angle on it to draw the thing and not bring the holster out with it. It's really not intended for coat pockets. So half of my original purpose for it kind of went out the window. But as long as you have decent pants with decent sized pockets, it's fine. One exception on this guy is blue jeans. I don't recommend trying to use this with blue jeans or any pockets that are accessed more or less from the top. So if you have like a top access blue jean, I tried it with that once and it didn't work, and so I'm not going to do it again. It's too hard to squeeze your hand down into the pocket and then somehow try to wiggle this thing out. There just isn't enough room, and I think it's going to print a lot more depending on how tightly fitted your pants are. I tend to buy relaxed fit pants, so they're fairly roomy anyway. But since there wasn't a lot of stuff on the internet about this thing, I decided I'd go ahead and make a video about it. So it's not really suede. I'm not sure what the surface texture finish is on this. It feels kind of velvety, and that's just to help it get a grip in your pocket, so that way it helps you draw it better. It's got a hook up here on the top, it's got a hook down here on the bottom, it's got the grommets in it, so it's held together pretty well. And I have rinsed it off with water once when it got a bunch of lint all over it, and it seems to hold up just fine. I almost wish it was open-ended, so that way if you did get a bunch of crud in it, knowing me with all the grass that I mow, I have gotten some grass in this thing before, it'd be a little bit easier to kind of blow the thing out or whatever if it had an opening on the bottom, so you could just clear the stuff out. But otherwise, that's more or less how that works. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about it, really. I really like the thing, though. It's very easy to carry. And as long as you're okay, I mean, obviously, if you're watching this video, you're looking into one of these things, probably. So, anyway, there are ridges on here. So when you put that in the pocket, you can kind of push against those with your finger if you're trying to get the thing out, I guess surreptitiously, because if you just yank the thing out of the holster, it'll still come. But you are just kind of like pushing the first one and then the second one, and then you can kind of gradually wiggle the thing out of the holster that way if you need to. Yeah, it's there, and it's nice to have it, I suppose, but ordinarily you're probably just going to be yanking the gun out of the holster, and then that's kind of irrelevant. So, I mean, yes, that's a technique. I can show it one more time if you want. So, there's the first bump, there's the second bump, and then it comes out. So, otherwise, generally speaking, and this is a safety thing here, because you should never just try to shove this thing back into the holster with the holster still in your pocket. You have to bring the holster out and take the holster to the gun, and then put both back in together. Otherwise, you're just coming out with it. So, and then, as I said, you gotta fish it out of your pocket, and then mate the two back up again. So that's pretty much how that goes. I do like the holster. I think it was about $67 when I ordered it. So, and I had to order it directly from Bulman Holsters because Modern Fighting Revolver was out of them, but they're just a retailer, they don't make them. So anyway, I went straight to the manufacturer and got one around Christmas time. So anyway, but that's what it looks like. And say there's the inside of it, there's the back side of it. But yeah, so yeah, I like it. If you're okay with pocket carry and you've already made yourself okay with the idea of carrying a revolver this way, then yeah, this is a good way to go. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.